Hey everyone, thank you for joining us, and today we are answering a very important question. What is the difference between the MixPanel and the MixPad? We're very glad you asked. We're going to jump right into it. First, I like to start with similarities. So if you've seen the Forza versus FS video that we did, we like to start with the similarities. If you missed it, don't worry, we will link it to this video and you can see it then. But for this one, we are going to talk about the similarities between the MixPanels and the MixPads. So let's start with the similarities. The MixPanels come in two different sizes. We have the MixPanel 150 and then we have the MixPanel 60. The MixPads also come in two different sizes. We have the MixPad II 27C and then we have the MixPad II 11C. And they're all actually quite similar when you look at a lot of their features. They're all bi-color lights. They all actually have RGB, which means that you can choose any color in the rainbow that you could possibly want to use. And then on top of that, they actually all are able to do either an intense, stronger light or a softer, more flattering light. The panel can actually change from one to the other with just a press of the button. Another really nifty feature is the plus and minus green magenta. So all of these lights have the ability to finesse the different color within the CCT mode. So if you're trying to match an environment, you need a little more magenta, you need a little more green, you can actually fine tune any of these lights to match whatever it is that you need. All the light panels have a high CRI and TLCI. Anything with Nanlite, the quality is above a 95, so you don't have to worry about that. Another thing that is really fun to use are the effects. All of the lights have effects. So that could be a hue loop, that could be a CCT loop, or something that's more of a practical effect, like mimicking a TV screen or mimicking firelight. And they all have the option of using batteries. So they all become very portable options if you want to kind of light something outside, or if there's just no power outlets where you are, or you just want to use batteries. The MixPanels use V-mounts, and then the MixPads use the Sony NP-F series. So the 27C uses two of them, and the 11C uses just one Sony battery. Now, where the differences come in are when we talk about brightness and the durability and the versatility of the lights. So the MixPanels are more like a filmmaker's workhorse. They're a little bit more durable. You can see that from the build quality when you're using it. And they actually have a few more features than what we just listed that they have in common with the MixPads. So the MixPanels are a lot brighter than the MixPads. That's one feature to take note of. So how much brighter, you might ask? The MixPanel 150, which is the bigger MixPanel, it is 2 times brighter than the other MixPanel, the MixPanel 60. So the MixPanel 150 is also like more than 2.5 times brighter than the MixPad 27C. The MixPanel 60 is 1.5 times brighter than the MixPad 27C. So as you can see, the MixPanels are a lot brighter than the MixPads, but they do have a lot of similar functions and features, so it really kind of depends on what you might need them for and what you might use them for. So when we talk about those differences in brightness, we're talking about all the lights being on a hard setting and about a meter away from what we're lighting. So there's a little bit of a difference in terms of the Kelvin range. So again, all of these lights are bicolor, but the range on the MixPanel is a little bit more expansive. It goes from 2700 all the way up to 7500. And then the MixPads also start at 2700, but they only go up to about 6500. Still plenty of range there, but there is a little bit of a difference. Another thing to take note of is that the MixPanels have DMX capabilities. Now that's a huge feature. That's a huge distinction between the two, and that's why we consider it kind of a filmmaker's workhorse, because not only is it brighter and more durable, but on top of that, you can throw the MixPanels into a DMX setup. So you can have a bunch of different lights and connect them all and control them from a DMX board. So that's a really big difference right there. So as we said, the MixPanels are brighter than the MixPads. And because of that, we have an internal fan in the MixPanels to keep it nice and cool for prolonged periods of time. So we have 3 different settings for the fan. It's silent, normal, and boost. Silent, the fan is completely off, but you only get 50% of the light. The fan can be on and very quiet and give you 75% of intensity, and that is the normal mode. And then in boost mode, if you really want to take advantage of just all the intensity and the full brightness of the light, that's when the fan's going to be fully on. So something to take note of too is that the MixPanels actually come with barn doors. So when you get the MixPanels, they already have barn doors which you can remove or use to kind of narrow the beam if you want to. The MixPanels also have an optional softbox with a grid that you could get too. The MixPads don't come with the barn doors or softbox. Those are all optional accessories, but they are available for the lights if you want to control the light a little bit more. So another very cool feature that the MixPanels have that the MixPads don't is gel emulation. Now, again, all of them are RGB, so you can get various different colors from them. But what's cool about the gel emulation is that the MixPanels give you the option of kind of having these different Roscoe colors and gels that you could kind of put onto the light. So you're not physically putting gels on the light, but it's pretty much the same concept. You can have a 5600 base Kelvin or a 3200 base Kelvin, and then you can choose what colors you want to put onto it. And that could just be a color temperature blue or a color temperature orange, but you also have things like rose and lavender and pretty much any Roscoe color you could think of. So a lot of you had questions about the differences between the MixPanels and the MixPads. Hopefully this video filled in some blanks for you. We also want you to know that up until January 2022, we have 20% off both the MixPanels and the MixPads. So if you need these in your kit, you might want to rush and get them now. So thank you guys so much for watching. If you haven't yet, please subscribe to the Nanlite USA channel. We have so many more tutorials and great deals coming your way. So please join our community. And thank you again for watching. Or for the MixPads, they actually use Sony NPF batteries.
Please put that in the video.
Put that in the video, just make it the slate. You know the end where it's like subscribe. That's the subscribe thing, you're welcome.